What's going on, you guys? My name's Brobson, and welcome to my Black Desert Online Ironman challenge. Before I get into the challenge itself, I first wanted to mention that I bought a whole new copy of Black Desert Online specifically for this Ironman challenge because I didn't want my Ironman characters to have any interaction whatsoever with characters that I leveled up without following the Ironman playstyle, and I also didn't want to use any previously stored contribution points or energy on these Ironman characters. I wanted the Ironman series to be a completely separate experience from my previous experiences with Black Desert Online, so I registered a new email, bought a new copy of the game, and am starting completely from scratch, and all of the characters that I create on this Ironman account will be following the Ironman rules and playstyle. So I will be able to transfer items from one Ironman character to the other within this account and family, but I will have no interaction with other non-Ironman characters that I create on Black Desert. The class we decided to start with for the Ironman was a Dark Knight, and the primary reason for that is just because I created a straw poll and polled my community on both Twitter and Twitch, asking them which class they'd like to see me roll first for the Ironman challenge, and of the 14 currently available in Black Desert Online, Dark Knight received by far the most votes. Now, let's get into the challenge and series itself. Ironman mode in Black Desert Online is a personal challenge I came up with where a player creates a new account and tries to progress through the game without use of the marketplace to buy items from or sell items to other players. This may seem like a crazy concept because to most people the marketplace is one of the most integral parts of Black Desert, and players use it for almost every piece of progression for their characters with both life skilling and gear. To me though, the most rewarding part of Black Desert, and MMORPGs in general for that matter, is the sense of accomplishment that I feel when I complete my own personal goals. And while there is an intense sense of satisfaction from making enough money and earning enough to buy the items that you want, the sense of satisfaction is much higher and I feel much more gratified in getting items completely on my own. It forces me to get out into the game world, learn more about the game, experience more total pieces of content, and finally feel rewarded when I get the items that I've been working on for months and sometimes even years. Taking other players out of it, and items that other players obtain out of it, you're left with a solo game experience where you truly are responsible for all of your own successes and failures. And every item that you manage to obtain along the way now gets more than just a silver or gold value, but instead has the intrinsic value applied to it that you got it out there on your own while adventuring. Either farming world bosses for hundreds of attempts until you finally get lucky enough to get that weapon drop, or having to get many pieces of Grunel as a drop from actual mobs around the world, or playing the awful Amity game and going through the RNG hell of trying to enhance and repair the durability of your own armor. Every single piece of gear that you're left with in the end game was 100% earned and upgraded by you, and you are the one who created or got the items dropped into the game for yourself. They're your items, not just items that you managed to purchase from other players who did the hard work for you. I understand that this playstyle won't be something that appeals to most players in terms of something they would want to do themselves, because most players in Black Desert simply care about having the highest gear score possible and staying as high level as possible, and using the marketplace as an integral part of doing so most players will want to continue using the marketplace, and that's fine. I'm not asking you guys to play this style with me, but I do think you might gain a very interesting perspective on the game by watching this series through, because when you're not simply worried about your gear score and getting as high level as possible, the game can be a whole different experience. To me personally, I've tried playing competitively with video games in the past, and I always end up burning out quicker and not enjoying the game for as much time, as every time I log in, I'm feeling pressured to do one or two specific pieces of content to continue progressing my gear or making enough money to level up my character, and I end up falling behind and not feeling the motivation to put in more hours to catch back up, and then I feel less gratified playing the game because I'm now behind the curve and I'm not as relevant or powerful as I used to be. It tends to lead to burnout for me personally, which is why I've chosen to play the game this way. I'm not trying to say that my way of playing is better, and I'm certainly not trying to persuade you guys to play this way with me, but I do think it could be very interesting if you are a player who simply grinds for gear each day to see how it works as a player who's playing fully self-sufficiently. For example, the gear that I aim for will be totally different than someone who has access to silver in the marketplace, because certain gear that you can buy pretty easily is very difficult to obtain from mob drops or from Amity game, and therefore the gear that I actually use to level up will look very different than the gear that you would gear up for on a normal account. Also, the amount of time it will take me and the approach that I take to certain things will also be very different than the average player, so I think the overall experience of playing through this game could be fun to watch, even if it's not a playstyle that appeals to you personally or is something that you personally would want to do on your Black Desert account. That said, if this playstyle does appeal to you or this video piques your interest in trying to play this way, feel free to let me know down in the comments section below. I'd love to see if there are other players who are already playing this way or who would be interested in creating a character or even a whole account to play through this style with me. Maybe we could create a guild and talk together in Discord or create a mini Ironman community around these series of videos. The format of this series is going to be very straightforward. I'm going to try to live stream as much of the Ironman account's progress as humanly possible. I am a full-time live streamer on twitch.tv, so I'll be playing about 8 to 10 hours of these Ironman characters on Twitch per day every single week. And everything that I do that's notable progress will be done on the Twitch channel, so you'll be able to see it live if you're interested. Make sure you click the link in the description to get to my live stream channel and follow me so you get notifications each day when I go live. The only exception to online gameplay will be things like AFK life skills, because I don't feel the need to show all of my fishing and stuff on stream, and those are the perfect things to set up to do passively AFK while sleeping at night. So overnight I'll be AFK fishing and getting a few ancient crystal relic shards, or I'll be putting a weight pack on my back to increase my character's strength level and auto-pathing around while I sleep. I don't think those things are really necessary to put into progress videos, so those things will be done offline. Also, I'm going to allow myself to do some world boss kills offline, just because it's not feasible for me to start up my stream every time a world boss spawns, do the kill for 10 minutes, and then stop the stream afterwards. Most of the world bosses that spawn should happen during my 8 to 10 hour live stream window, but there will be some world bosses that spawn outside of my streams, and I'm not going to restrict myself from killing them just because I'm not live, so I will allow myself to kill world bosses if they spawn while I'm not live and I'm close enough to my computer to get on to get the kill. But I will require myself to record each boss kill, so if I do happen to get super lucky and get a weapon box or some rare items while I am offline, or even just some of the latent auras to work up towards a weapon drop in the future, I will have a recording of it and they will go into these YouTube videos. So there will never be an event where I end up getting a world boss drop but don't have proof of it or a clip of it to show you. I hope it happens live on my channel so that I can hype with all the people that are watching at the time, but I will at the very least have a YouTube clip of any world boss drops that I do manage to obtain. But 99% of the progress and the notable things I get done will be done on my live stream channel, and then this YouTube channel will be for condensed videos to show you progress if you don't have the interest in watching all of the grinding and taking part in it, or you don't have the time to watch 10-hour live streams each day. These videos will be condensed versions where I just show the notable clips of the drops as they happen, or the live reactions to rare enhancements or funny moments, just kind of highlights of things that happen on the day-to-day live stream will be condensed into these videos. In addition to the base restrictions of not using the marketplace and not power leveling my characters with other accounts, I also want to try my best to use the cash shop as little as possible, because I'm not a huge fan of microtransaction models in video games, though I do understand that Black Desert has no monthly subscription model and microtransactions are a great way for Cacao to make profit to continue bringing updates. I personally would like to try and use them as little as possible. So I'm going to try really hard not to use inventory expansions or weight limit increases, and I'm going to try to get those things naturally by increasing my strength level and doing quests to increase my inventory expansion. But I felt that pets were pretty much integral for this series, because looting is a pretty integral part of the game for everyone for making profit and getting items, but especially in Ironman mode where I can't buy crystals to crush, I'm going to need pretty much every resource that I obtain, and having to loot manually would add years to this challenge length and provide no extra real entertainment value for me or for the viewers. So I did allow myself to purchase 4 base pets. They are all tier 1 and they will be used to level up the character throughout. I bought a red panda, the new snow owl, a skyhawk, and a desert fox. Those will be the only pets that I use, and as of now are the only cash shop transactions that I do plan to make on this account. But I'm not going to make that a set in stone restriction just yet, because I haven't played the game long enough in total, Ironman or not Ironman, to know how important it is to have those extra inventory slots or weight limit increases that only the cash shop can give you. So I'm going to try my best not to use them, but as I progress through the Ironman series, we'll just kind of decide as a community and me as a content creator whether it would be better for the series moving forward or have more entertainment value for the viewers and for myself to allow myself to be more lenient with cash shop purchases down the line. Finally, I think it's important to note that I'm still very new to Black Desert. I've only been playing the game for a total of about 3 weeks, so there are plenty of pieces of content in the game that I haven't interacted with yet, and plenty of things that I don't even know exist in the game as of the time of upload of this video. So there will almost certainly be some individual NPCs or pieces of content that are in a bit of a gray area as to whether or not they should be allowed in Ironman mode or whether they fit the spirit of the self-sufficiency Ironman gameplay style. So we're just going to have to go through those things on a case-by-case basis. Even if I had been playing the game for a year and a half since its original release, it would still be virtually impossible for me to go through every single NPC and every single piece of content and make a decision on it beforehand to make sure there are no oversights, and it would be a waste of time because we probably won't encounter half of them while playing through anyway. So we're just going to have to use common sense and everything we encounter determine whether or not it's allowed for Ironman as we get to it. A good example of this would be the night vendor. Technically, I am allowed to buy and sell items from NPCs and vendors in-game, so I can buy things like potions and sell items I get but don't need for a lower margin than I'd be able to on the marketplace to the goods vendors in-game. But the Night Vendor actually has the ability to sell boss gear to players if you get lucky, and you may be able to spend enough energy to get like Beg's gloves or dim tree armor. Obviously it would undercut the series and, you know, kind of be against the spirit of the Ironman to buy boss gear from a vendor. It wouldn't be all that much different from just buying it on the marketplace. So we're not going to be allowing ourselves to buy boss gear from the Night Vendor, despite the fact that it technically is allowed via the rule to allow myself to buy things from vendors. And again, there will probably be plenty of other pieces of content like this in the future. We're just going to have to go through each one on a case-by-case basis and kind of have a majority rules opinion with the community as to whether or not it should be allowed in Ironman mode. And that said, I know that there will never be a thing that everyone agrees on, and there will be certain pieces of content that half the people think we should use and half the people think we shouldn't use. Try to keep in mind that the series isn't supposed to be super strict or super cutthroat. It's just for fun and for the good of entertainment for myself and for the people watching. So if we do make a decision that we think should be allowed in the game, but you think shouldn't be allowed in Ironman mode, just try to deal with it. Not everything is going to be perfect, and no one's going to agree on everything. We're just going to do the best we can to make the most entertaining series and the most fun gameplay style for me to play through. And if you want to create your own Ironman account, again, you can feel free to play by any rule set you want, and you can use or not use things differently than I do. Just play the game the way you have the most fun with, and try to respect the fact that we're doing the same for the good of this series. I think that pretty much covers all the basic information needed to start this series off, but again, I'm sure I'll probably remember some stuff as soon as I upload this that I wish I had included, so make sure you check the description. If there is anything that I didn't remember to say in this video, I'll be throwing it into the description in terms of extra rules or restrictions, but I don't want to make this video too much longer than it already is. I'm really excited to get started with this challenge, and I hope that you guys are excited to go through it with me, so make sure you leave some feedback down below in the comment section if you're excited to watch this series or if you think it could be an interesting thing to watch through in the future. I think it'll be really cool to look back on a few years or at least months from now to see how I've progressed and see how far I can make it. And I really do love Black Desert a lot, and I hope it's a game I can continue playing for tens of thousands of hours into my future like I have with other MMOs in the past. I'm excited to see what you guys think, so again, make sure you leave your feedback below, subscribe if you'd like to see future content, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.